Hey. Guys, welcome to my channel. This is a story of what if Sasuke regrets his decisions and want to make atonement for his sin. Don't forget to like and subscribe to this channel, it will surely help me, and also it will notify you on my upcoming videos, and check the description for the creator of this great fanfic. Thank you. Now let's start the story. Chapter 8. Nami. Let's find out about how ninjas deal with shell shocks, and how to liberate an entire country in 1 hour. Nami. Tazuna's house. Sasuke washed his hand thoroughly. He really hated killing Haku, and wished there were any other way, but he then remembered how Haku was about to take his most precious person. His girlfriend, his teammate, his best friend, his rival, his student, his son, his light, his ex-rival, his everything. He felt pretty good actually. She, however, was a broken mess. Not a few minutes ago, she curled and cried at her lost innocence and humanity. He really felt bad for her and decided to give her some space until she gets better, or calm down a bit. Tazuna was shot, his Uchiha's death glare, and with his bloodshot starburst eyes to boot. Needless to say that the old man felt like death itself was staring at him before the Uchiha sighed. They lucked out of this one. Zabuza's stamina was the only reason they won this easily. Kakashi was now still recovering from a near chakra exhausting. Sasuke asked his mentor about how he was able to even do that, and if he copied the Kurigakure before. Kakashi nodded as he was about to collapse. Fortunately, the Hatake took his training seriously. Now, however, he was reading an orange book, and it was for real, like this one was written in all. When Tsunami asked them what happened, Naruto bolted to her room and curled into a ball as she cried her eyes out. She already threw up before they got in. Sasuke gave her a bottle of water which she used to rinse her mouth with. He didn't even know what to tell her. Oi, Kakashi, can you move? Sasuke asked his mentor in an irritated tone. Our blonde needs us, like right now. I have no idea what to say. Sasuke, did you kill before? Kakashi asked the Uchiha, who sighed. No. First kill, but he was about to kill my most precious person. Sasuke replied coldly. Kakashi gave him a meaningful look. Look, how am I supposed to do it? Just talk to her. I dunno. Tell her that she would get over it. Nah. Look, find the issue, and reassure her. Kakashi replied, and Sasuke's eyes widened. The issue. His mind ran at 1,000 miles per second, and he nodded as he realized that. You know, I really love this fatherly, wisdom-filled part of you, Kakashi. Well, what should we do about the Chunin exam? A team of 2 doesn't sound right. He replied as his mentor smiled behind his mask. His student was growing up. We'll get Sakura in some training. I hope she would not be a fangirl by then. At this, Sasuke smirked. No dead weight in Team 7, no imploding, no bad thing. Orochimaru isn't even worth killing. Orochimaru. That's it. Sicking his older brother on the snake pedophile and his helper would be a good idea. Naruto was a hidden genius. I'm going upstairs. And with that, Sasuke went to comfort a blonde that needed him badly. With Naruto, the girl felt horrible. How could she take someone's life so easily? Was everything said about her, a demon, a monster, a cold-hearted bitch, true? Were they right about the names they called her? Were they right all along? She didn't feel Kurama's influence. She didn't even know what she is. What if Sasuke would abandon her too? Would she bear it? Losing everything she worked so hard to achieve. Before she knew, someone hugged her from behind. Before she could react, she heard a deep warm voice that asked, Naruto-chan, are you alright? Hey Sasuke. Could you let go now? Can you drop the act? She asked back in a monotonous tone that made the Uchiha frown and sigh before he did as she said and sat in front of her, his legs are crossed. What act? He asked in confusion. You know exactly what I am talking about. You showing me this kindness, this love. She replied monotonously as he shook his head in total confusion. Seriously, I was nothing but truthful. I didn't understand what I felt towards you before, but it is genuine love. He replied, there's one emotion an Uchiha can never be confused about, it is true love. You know, Itachi had his girlfriend by my age. Every Uchiha did. I was just too focused on revenge to notice. One day I thought that maybe I should just let it go for a while, and I understood that I felt true genuine love towards you. Sasuke replied as he looked at her straight in the eyes, and she was shocked. Before he knew, she hugged him tightly, as if she let him he disappears from her life. He was confused until she explained. All my life, they called me a threat, a demon, a monster. Why? Why did you love me? Naruto asked Sasuke, who sighed. You are not. Killing is among the job description. He replied seriously. Is Kakashi a monster? Am I a monster? He asked, and she shook her head. Why did you kill him? To protect you and Kakashi-sensei. She replied in a sobbed tone. But still, I'm a Jinchuriki with the strongest Biju inside of me. I am but a monster, or a ticking time bomb. You are not. Bijus are not demons, they're a mass of chakra. Kurama might be a proud, cynical, sarcastic, Titanic-sized fox, but he was nice to you, no. And him being inside of you would not change anything. I love you, with or without him. I love you, civilian or ninja. I love you, strong or weak. I love you, Uzumaki Naruto, and that's final. I belong to you only. Sasuke replied. As she let go of him, her mouth gaping, he kissed her in a soul-stealing manner. Then, as they broke, he gave her a very warm smile. Now then, let's finish this mission and go home. Know one thing, no matter how long we're apart and how far, I'll always love you, only you, my Naruto. Sasuke. She squealed cutely as he kissed her forehead after he removed her forehead protector and tied it back. Be a good dobi and let's go down. He smirked as she punched him. I am not a dobi, Tem. She said as she turned away, smacking him with her pigtails, and her nose was lifted upward, her smile betraying her malice. Hey, I know that better than anyone. You tied me up, BDSM dropout. He asked teasingly, and she gave him a warm mock glare. I'm going to tie you up one day, and tease you mercilessly. She replied, and he smirked at her before he remembered something. You're only 12. Try that when we're 15 or something. He replied as she giggled. Of course we're kinda underage. But one day, you will have to pop my cherry. She sang at him, and he blushed before he gave her a questioning look. Who gave you the talk? The whole kunai and shuriken one. He asked, and she giggled, but not before she hinted Saint Hinata, and he laughed heartedly. Of course. That arrow Usagi. Why is Hina-chan a bunny? She asked, and he grinned devilishly. She's like one, cute, quiet and harmless. Choji is like a bear, Shikamaru is like a sloth, Shino is like a leopard, Kiba is like a dog, Ino is like a boar, Sakura is like a buffalo, you're like an oversized lioness-wolf hybrid that doesn't exist. I guess a hyenodon, and I'm like a hybrid of a Utahraptor and an Albertosaur. Yep. That sums it. Sasuke replied seriously as she giggled. So we're both a pair of prehistoric predators, huh? Also, how did you get them this accurately? Naruto asked Sasuke, who smirked. You know, for an introvert Avenger with a deep hatred towards the morally questionable, you're pretty good to know, befriend and maybe. Well, we both have huge goals to reach, but in our downtime, maybe we can get some dates. And with that, Sasuke smiled once again. The last 3 months made Sasuke realize something, that he was really glad to have all that knowledge and power. Also, you don't think that I am a monster for killing Zabuza? She asked, and he sighed. Here we go again. Her and her developed multitasking mind. Would it be better if you, I or Kakashi died? Sasuke asked her, and she felt her blood freeze. No. She yelled loudly as he nodded. I didn't want to kill Haku, but when he attacked you, I felt all my rage and hatred take me over. I just moved on my own. I didn't realize that I didn't need to kill him, but after he attempted to kill you, his life was at a forfeit. Sasuke replied seriously, as his tone became darker and darker, I'd burn the entire world just for you. He replied seriously and coldly, like colder than death. Sasuke's possessive, dark, protective side really was something that somehow made her feel loved. The more she thought about it, the more she realized that Sasuke would be her first and last boyfriend. Then again, would she need anyone else? He was so perfect to her. She was really happy that they chose each other. She was thinking about him, and she was becoming more and more worried about him one day. Sasuke, please, stop going to danger head on. Naruto asked her boyfriend, who gave her a questioning look, if anything happens to you, I don't think that I can move on. Like, I really don't know if I love you as much as you do, but I don't bear the mere thought of you leaving me. I swear, you're something else. He replied in amusement. Worry not, you're stuck with me forever. He smirked as he activated his Sharingan. I guess that our backup has arrived a bit too late. They'll be here. Downstairs, dynamic entry. A bowl cut, green spandex wearing Jonin kicked the door in. To say that Tazuna and Tsunami were angry was an understatement. What the fuck? Tazuna asked as Kakashi glared at the newcomer. Guy, you better repair this. Kakashi told his friend warningly. Sorry, lady, old man, but I heard that my friend and rival is in trouble, so I arrived as fast as I could. Kakashi, my eternal rival, what is this I heard about you taking 2 apprentices? Guy then introduced himself. Where are my manners? I'm Konoha's green beast, Maida Guy. The Jonin then gave them a thumbs up as his toothy smile sparkled. I'm Tazuna and this is my daughter Tsunami and my grandson Inari. Tazuna replied as Kakashi showed a total disinterest. Huh, did you say something? Kakashi trolled as Guy turned away and cursed Kakashi's hip and cool attitude as the cycloptic Jonin smirked evilly. Something that Sasuke and Naruto both took notice. Then a Hyuga, a clone and a bun-wearing girl arrived. Naruto immediately hugged the girl. Hey Tenten. It's so nice to see you. Naruto squealed as Neji grunted while Lee tried to throw a kiss at Naruto. Tried because Sasuke threw a kunai at his head. Lee dodged only for Sasuke to use his Sharingan to glare at him. She's mine. He glared as Lee bowed his head and apologized profusely to the Uchiha who grabbed him by the shoulders and made him rise up. It's okay, you didn't know. But word of advice, go chase another girl. Sasuke replied as Naruto nodded. Uzumaki Naruto. This is Uchiha Sasuke, my teammate. Who are you? She glanced at Neji who gave her a disinterested look. Why should I care about a dead last's name? The Hyuga scoffed as Lee bowed his head. I'm sorry Naruto-san, Sasuke-kun. Neji is unyouthful. I'm Rock Lee, pleased to know you. He nodded as Sasuke gave him one last warning glare before he glanced at Neji in a predatory manner. Say Hyuga, how about we have a spar where everything goes? Maybe we get to see which eye is better. And if you lose, you'll take your words back. He glared at him before Naruto shrugged. No deal. I'm fated to win. Neji replied smugly as Kakashi sighed. Oh really? So that means that you're a chicken shit who does not even have a spine, huh? Naruto insulted the Hyuga. I guess that only Hinata is brave enough. At least she's worth something. And Neji flew at her in a seething rage. However, before he could reach her, Sasuke was immediately grabbing his arm by the wrist and, taking a page from Itachi's book, broke it effortlessly. Next time you die. Sasuke warned Neji before he sighed. Hey, don't need the spar then. Time is money or power, and you're not even worth it. Neji. Guy warned his student as Kakashi sighed. Now he has to heal this bastard. Guy however shocked the 2 genins on Kakashi's team. Naruto, Sasuke, I humbly apologize for my student's foolishness and unyouthful ways. I am ashamed of that. Don't be, Guy. His choice, his mistake. Oh, and this girl he attacked. She just killed an A-rank nuke nin. This Uchiha. He killed his partner, who's at the very least AB rank. Kakashi replied as the entire team was shocked. Naruto, who Neji called worthless, killed an A-rank Jonin. Come on Kakashi-sensei, you and Sasuke-kun helped a lot, like he was at the wrong place the wrong time, you know. She replied as Sasuke smirked straight her embarrassed blushing expression. Kakashi, details. Guy asked and the Jonin looked at his 2 students who both shook their heads. No. He replied as she smirked and winked at him. Oh this is getting better. So, now what? Naruto asked her sensei who sighed. Team Guy stays here. We sleep, at the break of dawn, we find a midget, and liberate the country. Kakashi replied and both of his students smirked. Sleep now, for tomorrow is a long hard day. And sleep they did, after an amazing meal made by Tsunami. Naruto asked them if they had any seed, especially fruit seeds. As they nodded, she inspected them before she nodded contently. Sasuke smirked as he realized what she had in mind. Kakashi, I think that we better sleep in the same room, lest she beat them up, or I kill them in their sleep. Sasuke whispered in Kakashi's ear who sighed but nodded. Sasuke had become a full-on yandere mode, not that he blamed him one bit. One almost hit on his girlfriend, the other tried to attack said girlfriend out of spite. Break of dawn Kakashi and his team woke up, wore their sandals and summoned their best tracking animals. Sasuke summoned a Utahraptor, Naruto 2 Ninako, and Kakashi his Ninken pack. Alright guys, can you recognize this smell? Naruto asked the summons as she provided them with a sample of Zabuza's and Haku's clothes. As they nodded and started to track any building said smell was the strongest, they concealed their movement as they sneaked behind cover. About 3 hours later, they all arrived at a massive building. Naruko had an evil grin as she made a few hundred kage bunshin. She was the best suited for this mission it seems. And soon enough, all hell broke loose as Naruko's sea of clones broke into each and every floor in waves. Sasuke and Kakashi shook their heads at her lack of subtlety, but these people were just a bunch of simple thugs, no training, no shinobis on their ranks. Sure, there were 2 swordsmen. Well, a few samurais, and a midget that tried to escape, escorted by his 2 bodyguards. However, before he could take more than 5 steps, Sasuke was upon them, or rather, his 2 kage bunshin who severed their spinal cords at the base, just above the hip, making them fall down. Kakashi grabbed Gato and tied him up. You know, Gato, you don't seem so tall. Actually, my student was more than a match for your army on her own. So, you better start talking. Kakashi said in a jovial manner as he slapped 2 kunai on each hand. Come on, sing before you lose your voice. Did you really kill Zabuza and his accomplice? He asked as the cycloptic John and I smiled. No, my students did that. He then started approaching him. I think that I will start with what makes you a man. Please, spare me. You can have anything. What do you want? Money. Women. Power. Take it all but please spare me. Oh, so this Gato was a coward, huh? Sign here for the transfer. Sasuke approached him with a document that signified his transfer of everything he owned to him, Naruto and Kakashi. The coward did just that. The Uchiha then used a genjutsu to put him to sleep. Now what? Naruto asked as Sasuke smirked. Now, we're richer, now we can liquidate the entire company. Now, we can get our retirement, if you want so. Sasuke then turned to Kakashi. The Jonin shrugged. I don't want to retire. Naruto replied. Me neither. Kakashi added. Me neither, I have a few tasks to complete. Sasuke confessed. What do we do with these thugs? Naruto asked as Kakashi shrugged. I say we let the people of Nami decide their fate. Now then, how many clones do you still have? Sasuke asked his blonde teammate who made 9 digits. Naruto, I want you to round each and every thug. Everyone in Nami, just to be sure. Now then, how about we crack a safe and pay for the poor people? An S-ranked mission costs a lot. Kakashi replied as the team grinned. Oh, that's really some awesome news. Best thing is that it was still dawn. Sunrise. Naruto and Sasuke watched the sunrise at the sea. Naruto was amazed how beautiful and breathtaking it was and Sasuke nodded in agreement. Last time they missed it, thanks to Zabuza's and Haku's threat. Now however, they could witness an amazing natural phenomena without anyone else's intervention. Well, Guy and Lee left them on their own, and even swearing on the flames of youth itself not to say a single word. The young couple watched the event in a comfortable silence. As soon as it was over however, Tazuna and Kakashi walked out. Hey, just to ask you about the scum's fate. I mean, Sensei told me about them. Tazuna asked as the 2 turned toward him and shrugged in perfect unison. Kakashi sighed as he now had to explain. Great. Tazuna-san, round up every man, woman and child. I think that we spared them for a good reason. The reason is to give you your pound of flesh. You can do whatever you like with them. Imprison, execute, whatever. Kakashi replied seriously as Naruto went away and used the seeds as a medium when Sasuke watched over for any unwanted attention. There were no more threats, and that means training for them both. Training THST they can both enjoy. Naruto, do you think that we can train at our heart's content? Sasuke asked his blonde teammate who nodded enthusiastically. He shook his head straight her. Since they finished their mission to back us up, or maybe they'll enjoy watching over Tazuna, then maybe we can train or explore this island, what do you say, Sasutem? She grinned at him. Let's ask Kakashi, Naru Tonkachi. He smirked as she pouted and puffed her cheeks. Then they both laughed heartedly. Then Sasuke remembered his lost friends and sighed forlornly. Sasuke. Is there something wrong? Naruto replied as he sighed before he answered. I will have to go one day in order to save my friends. Actually, now I remember. One of them may very well be in this Chunin exam. If you find a red-haired, glass-wearing girl, ask her about her name, she's probably a fellow clan member. Sasuke replied as Naruto raised an eyebrow. Sasuke however remembered something. Ask Tazuna or Tsunami. As it hit her like Tsunade's punches, she darted while thanking her Tem-kun for telling her. He laughed at her. Then he blushed and chided himself for talking too much when she's with him. Maybe it was a good thing. No. He will hurt her eventually, but until then, he will not allow himself to be a total jerk to her. Then he had 1,000 ideas how to make it up to her. From playing with her hair, to doing her hair, to help her in her training, maybe some cute intimacy. He will definitely need a checklist one day. Open love season with Naruto will have to wait for another 2 years, but it will be so worth it. Tazuna's house. Tsunami was making breakfast. The two Jonin were having a weird contest, which Kakashi lost without any interest. Neji had his arm in a sling and was glaring daggers at the blonde who arrived. If she cared one bit, which she didn't, she did not even show. Tazuna-san, a minute. Naruto asked, and as the old builder nodded, she whispered something in his ears. His eyes widened with shock before he sighed dejectedly. And before she knew, he bowed his head in apology. Naruto-chan, I think that I should draw you a map. Can you wait a bit? He asked the blonde who nodded. Very well. Tsunami, where did you put the map of our island? Well dad, there's a map in your room. Should I get it? Also breakfast will be ready in 10. At that, the man darted to his room, and found what he seeked. He wrote 2 sentences, and ran down. Naruto got the map and nodded gratefully before she went out. What did she ask for? Kakashi asked in curiosity, and Tazuna sighed. Uzushio's ruins. At that, everyone's eyes either widened, or were confused. Neji asked Guy, who sighed. Uzushiogakure was a shinobi village, which had a clan of ninja that you met one of its descendants. It was feared for its fuinjutsu. In the Second War, it was destroyed. The Uchiha clan and the few Senju survivors worked together as they darted there. Unfortunately, the intel arrived too late. The Uchiha clan were livid and blamed the village, which so far, no one was proven guilty. Guy explained. What's the name of that clan? Tenten asked, and Kakashi smiled. Uzumaki. At this Lee grinned, Neji scowled, and Tenten felt really bad. Naruto-kun is from a clan. I never knew. Lee started only for Kakashi to shot him a sad glare. Didn't you hear? Her clan was dead. Most of its survivors are scattered to the winds. Kakashi replied as Neji scoffed. Dead clan is fitting for a talentless. And Kakashi unleashed the full brunt of his killing intent. Guy. I'm going to ask you this only once. Restrain your student, or else I will kill him with my own hands, consequences be damned. Kakashi's tone was cold. It was like the Anbu captain returned and Guy bonked Neji out of consciousness. Thanks. The path to Uzushio ruins. Naruto couldn't believe it. That Tem insisted on going with her. She really was annoyed with him. Like, why didn't he trust her? She sure did. Seriously, why? Why did you insist on coming with me? Naruto asked the Uchiha in an irritated manner. He just sighed. Why didn't anyone else? Better 2 than 1, not that I do care one bit. However, you tend to be distracted. Someone have to be your guardian angel, or devil in my case. He replied seriously as she sighed. Sasuke, you are not a devil, I swear. Really, why are you still having some self-esteem issues? She asked the Uchiha, who sighed dejectedly. As he didn't reply, she had a lopsided smirk. Tell me about your friends. Karen is an Uzumaki, and have Sakura's temper. Suigetsu is one sarcastic observant Hozoki psychopath, and Jugo is just a very strong, very nice big guy with a bipolarity issues. She waited for him to continue, however he didn't say anything else. Which prompted her to pinch his cheek. He turned toward her and gave her a questioning look. That's all you can say about some old friends you're ready to move heaven and earth for. What did they do? She asked angrily, but in the inside, she was nervous. If that's how much he have to say about them, then what about her? They believed in you, which is more than enough for me. He replied calmly as she was shocked. That was it. Because they believed in her. I swear, I'd trust them and Kakashi more than the entire village. What exactly would you trust them with? Naruto asked Sasuke, who smirked at her. She sighed. Why can't he always smile? Your safety. That was it. Why was it a big deal? I swear Sasuke, I try so hard to know you, yet you always try to flee, or change the subject, or avoid talking about it. I really want to know you. Are you the sweet kid that I remember, or that Avenger who lost everything, or the man who tried to teach me and undo all the damage dealt to me through the sabotage of the academy? Or the preteen who's madly in love with me, or that kid who told me to stay away from him lest he might kill me one day if he failed to do it, or the kid who beaten my bullies up blue and black and red, or that kid who's a cold distant sarcastic jerk, or that kid who said that if I work hard I might end up as a Hokage when the entire classroom save for Hinata jeered me, or that kid I fought while sneaking away from the girls' classes. Naruto panted as Sasuke smirked at her. However, she wasn't done yet. Or are you that wise teen who might steal my dream? She was pulled into a soul-searing kiss as he then released her while smiling warmly and fondly. What do you think? He cocked an eyebrow while he had a grin, smirk at the same time. My boyfriend. Arg. I fucking hate you. Why did you have to be this complicated? Naruto was about to pull her pigtails off before she sighed. I'm gonna cut him. She smirked at him. So. Don't care. He replied as her eyes widened. Then, that rumor. But Ino said that you liked girls with long hair, and unlike them, I decided to let it grow, but I only used soap, and most of all, I just took my training seriously. You didn't care, huh? She narrowed her eyes and he just laughed. That bloody Tem was laughing at her. What was she supposed to do with him? I think that I really love girls with vibrant blue eyes, golden locks, and most of all, have cute whiskers. He replied and she blushed at him more than his beloved tomatoes. Shish shut you handsome flattering sexy bishonen evil sweet Tem. Naruto exploded and he just continued his mirthful laughter. For once in his tormented life, the old Sasuke was back. For once, he have his son back. The moon can't exist without its sun, and he was her moon, yet she was his sun. Then it hit him harder than any Biju or even the Jubi could hit, he will have to leave her momentarily. Sasuke tried to determine a period, and found out that he can only be absent from the village for 6 months max. That means that he will have to get her a birthday present for her. No. He will leave after that. With a heavy heart, Sasuke made his decision. For him to be able to do what he must, he needed more power, and faster. He remembered how the Sanbi would be dead by no. He wished that his intervention made a lot of ripples, enough to alternate the timeline one way or another. Oi, Sasu Tem-kun. You're too quiet. Are you here? Hello. Naruto to her Tem. Naruto poked him repeatedly until he sighed. Yeah, I am. Kinda. I was thinking about many things. Sasuke replied in a monotonous tone. Naruto frowned upon that. He was out of it for a while now. Don't you trust me? She asked and he sighed dejectedly. His eyes showed a forlorn and foreboding feeling hidden behind them. With my life. Anytime. With your own. No. This is a secret it's too heavy. Every time I remember it, I just wish it was a lie. But now I will make everything in my power to be able to prevent it. So you know, trust is irrelevant. I don't have to be a man if I would need to succeed. I have to bring my worst devilish demonic dragon self. He replied as she struggled with his words. Look, I really appreciate it, but you can share anything with me. I mean, anything. She stretched her words and he trembled. It was his last words to her before. Ah. Sasuke yelled to the sky, his eyes watering like a true waterfall. He was suddenly on his knees, his eyes closed shut, his mouth open wider than any creature of his size and composition could have been able to. His fists were clenched tightly enough to turn his knuckles completely white. His yell was that of utter despair, rage, pain and loss. Naruto was terrified how her strong, brave and reliable teammate was a broken mess. As she put her hand on his cheek, a purple demonic chakra enveloped them both. Then, it happened. A gargantuan, four-armed, winged Tenguesque behemoth of a humanoid creature appeared out of nowhere. Naruto was shocked until she hugged Sasuke. The Uchiha opened his eyes. As he found her, he hugged her tightly enough to almost breaking her bones as the creature died down and fast. Sasuke found himself hugging the life out of his girlfriend. Much to his shock, she tightened her hold on him. He relaxed his grip enough, but completely refused to let her go, as if she'd disappear if he ever let her go. Sasuke, how much pain did you suffer? Naruto asked the Uchiha who apologized profusely for scaring her. I'm not afraid of you, I'm afraid for you. Naruto Haim. Sasuke whispered as his dam broke, and the Uchiha did something he never did for 3 years, after Itachi's death. He let his tears flow down once again. Naruto held his head tightly, trying to hide him away from the pain he did suffered in his entire life. Somehow, After 10 minutes, the tears and sobs ceased before he wiped them out and gave her his most determined look. We have to get stronger. Every day, we break our limits as much as we possibly can. No more kids' gloves. I mean, you should have been in A rank, and so am I, he replied seldomly. She nodded in sorrow. We have two choices. We can stay the brats who plays ninjas, or we can show them who we really are. Of course no one can save them from us. You know that, right? Naruto asked her boyfriend who smirked evilly at her. I mean, these three, you can take them down easily. I can take them out with a minimal effort, if I had control over that chain. It just got out of my own body and I unconsciously added wind chakra. She replied and Sasuke's eyes widened in astonishment. That was without even mastery. On her second try. Then knowing her, she would never feel like stopping her training until she used less than 6 hand seals. You're awesome. Sasuke blurted as his girlfriend blushed at his compliment. Then they walked in a comfortable silence, as they had one of their many silent conversations. Fortunately, they reached their destination, and Sasuke saw the intricate ceiling matrix somewhere. As he approached with her, he found nothing. However, his Rinnegan told him something. Only the true heiress of Uzushio shall be accepted. Naruto-chan, I think that I would call you Haim more times now. Sasuke smirked as she blushed and threw some insults at him. He smiled as she put her hand on the seal, and it opened. However, he also noticed the barrier. Sasuke, can't you come in? It's kinda amazing in here. Naruto asked her teammate who sighed dejectedly. No, I can't. Naruto, be careful. Take whatever you need to take and let's get out of here. Sasuke replied as he was ready to unleash his Susanoo on a second's notice. Well, I think that I got everything. Including the archives. Now, what should we do? Naruto asked her teammate who sighed. Get out of there. He replied seriously. As soon as he heard her raspberry, he shook his head. I will if you will be a good tem and wait. There's something more incredible than I can tell. She said before her voice disappeared. Naruto. Oi Naruto, what happened? Oi, reply, you're starting to scare the shit out of me. Sasuke yelled before she appeared in front of him. He jumped a bit backwards, only to see her grin. He gave her a confused look as she smiled straight him. Sasuke, you really do care about me. Naruto practically squealed like a mouse on helium. Sasuke gave her a deadpan look. Really? Of fucking course he would care. I was trying to see what would you do if you felt that I'm in danger and you can't do anything. At this, the Uchiha pulled her to a kiss, half to shut her up, but mostly, it was a desperate attempt to hide his true issues of losing her. He almost didn't twice. Fuck. He was supposed to protect her. He was supposed to change many things in her interest. Why was he such a failure? We have to go back. Trust no one. We're going to lie and say that there's nothing left but some ruins, you got that? Sasuke replied as she gave him a shocked and confused expression. As she was about to say something he glared at her, shut up. What do you think will happen if they caught wind? Look, try to see things from your own perspective. This is your clan's hidden ninjutsu, like my Sharingan, like the Hyuga's Juken and Byakugan, like the Nara, Yamanaka, Akamichi, Aburame, Inuzuka and God knows who else. So act like Uzumaki Dono. Just this time Naruto. Just this time. Act like a clan head. I don't know. She replied as he seethed. 3 fucking months with him and Kakashi, and yet. Will you let Ino date me instead? Tell me how you really feel about it. Sasuke asked her angrily. Here goes all of the fucking hard work. Fuck no. I'd beat the living shit out of her. Naruto replied and Sasuke smirked. She was becoming the confident strong woman he fell head over heels for. So, clan jutsus must remain hidden for some good reason. Fortunately, they have a chakra identity seal, meaning anyone else would not be able to open them. He replied as he sighed. I could only access the Uchiha Madara's jutsus because I am his true heir. He replied as her eyes widened as he grinned savagely. Let's prove them wrong with everything bad they said about you. The girl nodded enthusiastically as her teammate carried her on his back and dashed all the way to Tazuna's house, just to have some fun as she unleashed a string of curses. Tazuna's house. Sasuke smirked as he put his prize down. Well, his good karma prize at least. He sighed as Naruto punched him repeatedly as he just laughed heartedly as he knew for a fact that there were neither force nor malice behind said swings. Then the asshole called Neji arrived and Naruto went inside. Sasuke's good mood was replaced by a seething hatred for the Hyuga prodigy. No changes in chakra nature and be called a prodigy. How low is the Jonin standard? Yo, what's up weak ass? Sasuke smirked as Neji shot him a hate-filled glare which made him snort. Suigetsu was a billion times better without even trying. How's your arm? Not the broken one. Oh, I'm sorry, does it hurt? I can't always control my own strength. His evil Uchiha smirkish grin was present as he rubbed salt and lemon into the Hyuga's wounded pride. Why did you choose such a trash, Uchiha? Neji asked the raven-haired who almost lost his self-control if it wasn't for one important detail. Oh, the irony. All-seeing eye, his fire-breathing mouth and lightning-covered hands. Oh sorry, I think that if killing an A-ranked Jonin, from the bloody mist no less, makes someone a trash, that makes you and your entire clan who lost your eye to someone much weaker less than any shit, from the dinosaurs all the way to the rats. Sasuke's reply made Neji seethe even more. Oh, he was loving this. What about your sensei, from an extinct clan and all? Neji asked him as Sasuke laughed his ass off. Oh, I guess that we're a true team. But your own have an odd one. An obnoxious blind-looking girl-haired so-called genius who can't accomplish shit to save his own stick in the ass. Sasuke replied with a devilish demonic grin. Oh, I'm sorry, but my sensei at least is dignified enough not to read porn in public. Neji started digging his own grave, and he have two eyes, like depth perception. Sasuke remained stoic. Oh, and he's never late. Sasuke shrugged. And he at least is not a lazy-ass perverted who may hit on any woman. I saw how he looked at your girlfriend. I saw how he reacts most of the time. He had to let his own students kill for him. Ahem. Kakashi's evil aura was more than enough. Neji paled as sweat became visible. Sasuke smirked at Kakashi. Have fun being carried home dead or alive, you fucking piece of swine shit. Oh, and Kakashi, do not do anything I would not. And with that, Sasuke walked only to find Naruto giggling while Sasuke chuckled. Oh, Kakashi will make some mincemeat out of that pamperous Hyuga ass. Literally. Senin Garashi. And Neji was flung upward while Naruto held her stomach and Sasuke was laughing so hard he had to cover his eyes lest his tears were visible. Neji's torment begins now. Thanks for listening. I hope you guys liked it. Don't forget to subscribe and leave a like for more what ifs and support the author. See you guys in the next video.